Okay, I finally got a smaller batch, but still a batch, on polish. I decided not to reuse the rings that I had used on the other grits because some of the grit has become embedded in the vinyl tubing. So I didn't want any chance of the grit contaminating my polish. So I have brand new bumper rings in here, but I don't have as many of them as I had for the previous batches. So I just don't have as many things running. But since I have a pad down, I do not have to worry as much with uneven wear because I am not worried about the plate wearing down unevenly. It's got a pad, so therefore it's not going to wear down the plate. But things are progressing nicely. This one's coming up nicely. I don't have my tripod down here, so I'll pause it for a second. This one's the one with the least surface area, and as you can see, it's coming up to a pretty good polish. It needs a little bit more time. The paperwork said that this is the phase that takes the longest to do. So I'm just going to let it go until everything's completely shiny. And away it goes. My smaller things like this thunder egg are kind of bouncing around a little bit. I don't really like that. I probably need more weight on it, but one of the things is it's a small piece. So if I stack the weight any higher, it would probably tip over. And I didn't have any larger diameter weights. And if I had a larger diameter weight, it would probably tip over too. So it's just a small piece, so it's just a little bit awkward. I've also got a really nice piece of polka dot agate here. Working along. I probably have a little bit too much water on this, but it will dry out a little bit. I had to add a little bit of water over here because it was getting dry, and I think that upset the balance on the rest of it. But it's a learning curve. It says if you get it too wet, it may not polish as fast, so it'll just take a little bit more time. Yeah, I've definitely got a little bit too much water on here, so it'll just take more time, but I've got time and I've got patience. I'm also experimenting. In case you saw the video earlier today, the polka dot agate came out of the Tumbler. Actually, it was yesterday. And there's the empty bowl, but I am experimenting with my Indonesian amber and some poly pellets right now in the Tumbler. It's a lot quieter running that. But here's what it looked like beforehand. You know, it had a lot of areas that didn't get ground down in the first grit, and I needed to get into those, so I figured I'd try with poly pellets in there. And after running it in poly pellets and just running it in, this is just 120 grit. I'm going to dry this piece off, and running it for probably about, an hour and a half, it's much better smoothed out all throughout. Still got a little bit of issues, but it's second stage and it is very nice. The smaller pieces, some of them are still rough. I'll probably want, to run them through a phase in a actual rotary tumbler in 600 after this. Some of them had been worked in 600 previously, and I put them in to kind of smooth out some rough areas, and it seems to have worked nicely. But here I am talking in circles again, I just realized. But I think overall the working with a little bit of 120 grit and poly pellets gets into those deeper areas. Also, some little bits have been breaking out. You can see them deposited around the edge, and they're working on smoothing. They're churning around. Every once in a while I go in and I turn them over and poke them down in again. Upon a recommendation, I did just order some 8-inch diameter acrylic discs for these, and that is going to substitute for a lid on the 2 old barrels or bowls, because the new lid does not fit the old bowls. So I'll just have to mark the center, drill a 1/4-inch hole, and then I'll be able to put it on, put another rubber washer on, and crank it down, and it'll just sit snugly on top. And there we go. You notice with the poly pellets and amber, this is running a lot quieter than it was with the rock and the ceramic media. But tomorrow it will be running with rock and ceramic media again, and making a lot more noise. So there we go. That's my check-in for now. Those will be done probably tomorrow. So look forward to a video showing off my finished pieces off my first batch off the flat lap tomorrow sometime. And that's the news for now. I'm also over here. Not only do I have all that going on over there, but I'm over here roughing out some cabs. I've got a piece of plume agate I'm working on. I've got a piece of labradorite I'm working on. It's got a nice flash. You can't see it when it's dry. Let's see, I'll just wet it down a little bit. Nice beautiful flash on that piece. And some rutilated quartz. So those are the 3 stones I'm working on right now. I've got some other ones that I'm working on pre-shaping. This is a Gary Green cabochon that I'm working on pre-shaping. I've got some work to do to get it down to shape still. But that's a Gary Green Larsenite cab. This one here is moss agate. Probably, I'm guessing it's from like the Maury Mountain area. It's got reds and oranges in it. And then I've got a blue tiger eye cab that I'm working on getting down to size and shape. And I've got some more petrified wood to round the ends on, and a whole bunch more Tabasco geodes to cut open. This will be the next one. That's going to be my next random reveal. So look forward to that. That'll be polished and ready to go next time. So that's what I got going on. That's the updates for now, and have a great rest of your day.